Travelers and plane spotters at Montreal's Trudeau International Airport recently witnessed a rather peculiar sight. An Air Canada Boeing 787 Dreamliner, one of the most modern and sophisticated aircraft in the sky, took off and continued its climb without retracting its landing gear. For many on the ground, and perhaps even for some passengers peering out the window, this might have seemed like the beginning of an emergency. The image of a large passenger jet flying with its wheels down is often associated with a problem, a signal that the plane must soon return to the airport. However, in this specific case, what appeared to be a cause for alarm was actually the exact opposite. It was a demonstration of safety procedures working perfectly as intended. The aircraft continued on its flight path, slowly gaining altitude, with its landing gear fully extended against the rushing air. This was not a mechanical failure, nor was it a sign of pilot error. Instead, the flight crew was deliberately following a specific, pre-planned procedure. Before the plane even pushed back from the gate, the pilots and the airline's maintenance team knew this flight would operate a little differently. This decision was made on the ground to mitigate a minor issue, ensuring that every system on the aircraft could function at its highest level of safety, even if it meant a slightly unconventional departure. This unusual flying configuration highlights a crucial aspect of modern aviation. Procedures exist for nearly every imaginable scenario. The scene underscores an important truth about air travel that often goes unnoticed by the public. The rigid, process-driven nature of the industry means that even minor discrepancies are handled with an abundance of caution. In this instance, the issue was related to a missing seal on a door within the landing gear bay. While this might sound trivial, such components are part of a complex system. Rather than risk any unforeseen complications, the airline and its crew opted to follow a documented procedure that completely removes any potential risk associated with that specific seal, proving that safety protocols often prioritize caution over convenience and normalcy. For those aboard the flight, the journey would have felt almost entirely normal, with the exception of a bit more ambient noise than usual. The sound of the wind rushing past the extended gear assembly would be more noticeable inside the cabin. The pilots would have made a standard announcement to the passengers, calmly explaining the situation to ensure no one was unnecessarily alarmed. They would have clarified that the flight was proceeding safely and that the extended gear was a planned measure. This act of transparent communication is a key part of crew training, designed to maintain a calm and orderly environment and build passenger trust, even when things look out of the ordinary. The reason for this strange-looking flight can be found in a crucial document known as the Minimum Equipment List, or MEL. The MEL is essentially a pilot's playbook co-developed by the aircraft manufacturer, the airline, and aviation regulators. It lists the instruments and parts that are allowed to be inoperative for a flight to proceed, along with any special procedures that must be followed. A modern airliner like the Boeing 787 has thousands of components and immense redundancy. Not every single part needs to be perfectly functional for the aircraft to fly safely. The MEL defines exactly what can be broken and how the crew must compensate for it. In the case of the Air Canada flight, the MEL was activated because of the missing door seal in the landing gear bay. The procedure outlined in the MEL for this specific situation instructed the pilots to leave the landing gear down for the duration of the flight. This might seem like an overreaction to a small seal, but the rule is there for a very good reason. The seal plays a role in maintaining the integrity of the systems located within the wheel well, including critical fire detection systems. By leaving the gear down, airflow is maintained in a way that ensures these systems work as designed, removing any ambiguity and guaranteeing safety. Following the MEL is not optional, it is a regulatory requirement. When a pilot accepts an aircraft for a flight, they are confirming that it either has no defects or that any existing defects are handled in strict accordance with the MEL. This list provides a safe and legal framework for dispatching an aircraft with certain components out of service, preventing costly and disruptive flight cancellations for minor issues that do not compromise safety. It is a testament to the layered approach of aviation safety, where problems are anticipated and clear. Pre-approved solutions are already in place for pilots to execute with confidence. Flying with the gear down does have consequences, which are also factored into the flight plan. The extended wheels and struts create significant aerodynamic drag. This means the airplane has to work harder to push through the air, causing it to fly a bit slower and at a lower altitude than it normally would. More importantly, it consumes a substantial amount of extra fuel. For this particular flight, it was estimated that an additional 1,200 kilograms of fuel were burned. This penalty is carefully calculated and planned for before departure, ensuring the aircraft has more than enough fuel to complete its journey safely despite the reduced efficiency. Another common reason a pilot might intentionally leave the landing gear down after takeoff is to cool the brakes. This might seem odd, as one usually associates brake heat with landing, not departing. However, the brakes on a large aircraft can become extremely hot simply from taxiing from the terminal to the runway, especially at a large, busy airport or on a warm day. The Boeing 787's carbon brakes can easily reach temperatures of several hundred degrees Celsius before the plane even begins its takeoff roll. Retracting scorching hot brakes immediately into a confined, unventilated wheel well would be a major fire hazard. The enclosed space of the landing gear bay is filled with hydraulic lines, electrical wiring and tires made of rubber, all things that do not react well to extreme heat. If overheated brakes were retracted, the residual heat could potentially damage these components or, in a worst-case scenario, ignite hydraulic fluid or the tire itself. This is why aircraft have brake temperature sensors that provide real-time readings to the pilots in the cockpit. If those temperatures exceed a specific limit set by the manufacturer, safety procedures dictate that the gear must remain extended after takeoff to allow for sufficient cooling. When the landing gear is left down, it is exposed to a continuous blast of cold air as the aircraft climbs through the sky. This powerful airflow acts like a giant fan, rapidly dissipating the heat from the brake assemblies and bringing their temperature down to a safe level. Pilots will monitor the brake temperature readings and will only retract the gear once they have cooled down sufficiently. This simple, effective procedure completely eliminates the fire risk associated with hot brakes, turning a potentially dangerous situation into a routine and safe operational step that protects the aircraft and everyone on board. This procedure is a perfect example of how aviation safety is proactive, not reactive. Instead of waiting for a problem to occur, the system is designed to prevent it from ever happening. The rules are written based on decades of engineering knowledge, materials science, and operational experience. Pilots train for these scenarios repeatedly in simulators, so when they encounter high brake temperatures on the taxiway, they know exactly what to do. The decision to leave the gear down is not a moment of panic, but a calm, professional execution of a well-established safety protocol that is built into the very fabric of airline operations. When passengers see something out of the ordinary, like an aircraft flying with its wheels down, it is natural to feel a sense of unease. However, these events should actually inspire confidence. They demonstrate that the multiple layers of safety that govern modern aviation are working exactly as they should. The system is designed to catch small issues and address them with overwhelmingly cautious measures. The fact that a flight can continue safely with a minor defect following a specific pre-planned procedure is a powerful testament to the resilience and robustness of commercial air travel. It shows that safety is not an afterthought, but the guiding principle of every operation. The pilots in the cockpit are at the heart of this safety culture. They undergo years of rigorous and continuous training, preparing them to handle not just everyday flying, but also a vast array of non-normal situations. Executing an MEL procedure is a standard part of their job. They are supported by an entire team on the ground, including maintenance engineers who inspect the aircraft and dispatchers who help plan the flight. This collaborative, checklist-driven approach ensures that decisions are never made in isolation and that every flight operates with the highest possible margin of safety, no matter the circumstances. The next time you are on a flight and hear an announcement from the captain explaining a minor deviation from the norm, remember the story of the Air Canada 787. What might seem like a problem is often just the safety system working visibly. It is a sign that your flight crew is highly trained, situationally aware and in full control, following procedures that have been vetted and approved by engineers and regulators around the world. These protocols are the invisible shield that makes flying one of the safest forms of transportation ever created by humankind. Ultimately, the sight of a Dreamliner flying with its gear down is not a story about a problem with an airplane. It is a story about the strength of the procedures designed to protect it. It is a reminder that for every flight there is a comprehensive plan for what to do if things are not perfect. From the detailed MEL to the training in the simulator, every element is designed to ensure that the crew can manage any situation with calm professionalism. So you can sit back, relax, and have confidence that you are in the safest hands, guided by rules written to bring you to your destination securely.